Today we'll be reading from Leviticus chapter 20, starting at verse 17.
Okay, Leviticus chapter 20, verse 17. Okay. And a man who takes his sister, whether his father's daughter or his mother's daughter, and he sees her nakedness and she sees his nakedness, it is a disgraceful act, and they shall be cut off before the eyes of the members of their people. He uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his sin.
Okay, so we have verse 17. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, what does that mean? Her father's daughter, just so that we can clarify, or his mother's daughter, right? It's a sister, right? It's a sister. She's your sister, whether she's a half sister or a full-blooded sister, correct? She's still considered your sister. So if y'all share the same DNA, whether it's through the father or the mother or both, that's what we're actually talking about in this verse right here. And we already have discussed in part one that what the nakedness is. It's sexual orientation. Okay, it's sexual in nature. And it's considered wickedness to our Creator, the Creator of these laws, right? The Most High. Anyone else have anything to add to that?
Yeah, correct, bro. Correct on that. Just like you said, if it's either on the mom or the dad side, it's still connected by blood, right? It's still connected. It's still your sister, right? We understand there's cases where there's ¿cómo se llama? How do you say, maybe you come into in a relationship, so let's say you are the son of your father, right? And he marries a woman that already has a daughter, right? And you guys become related because of the marriage of your father and the marriage of the lady, right? But you are not connected through bloodline, right? That's different to what right here Leviticus is speaking. It's speaking of your sister that either comes out of your father or your mother, whether it's a half sister or a full brother, half brother. We're talking about there has to be a connection, right? What we call in today's age incest, right? It's like you said, sexual orientation or sexual practice, whether it's fellatio, whether it's through the back, or whether it's penetration of whatever it has to do, anything sexual. It's abominable, right? It's abominable in the eyes of the Most High, and not only that, even today we still keep this law. We still keep this law, even though there's people that still don't give a damn, right? Don't give a damn whether it's a sister, brother. They think a hole is a hole, right?
Right.
But that's abomination to the Most High. And like I said on the first part, whoever disagrees with stuff with these laws, right? Especially these laws that we're bringing out right now, that are punishable by death, and we understand why there are why the capital punishment on these infringing these laws or breaking these laws, why it is so. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Correct. And it may seem like okay, we already know this. This is something that should come natural. But the fact is that it happens. The fact is that he wanted to make sure that everyone understood that this is not to happen in the nation of Israel, right? And he could have left it out, and maybe we wouldn't even go there anyway. But I know some people that have done that. So, and they are Israelites. So, they might not be woke yet, but they've done it. And we got to bring up our children understanding that, because there's a lot of stuff going on in today's society. There's a lot of music that we listen to as we're driving down the road. There's a lot of stuff on TV. There's pornography out there that pushes this type of stuff. in their titles and stuff like that. And
Right.
people really don't care about that, right? They don't care. They it's becoming normalized, and that's why we're bringing all these laws up. So don't roll your eyes as we go over these laws. We're going over them for a very specific reason, because to be honest with you, no one really is doing this. No one is really taking the time out to go over the laws, and
Right.
everyone's talking about them. Everyone's talking about all the other books in the Bible. Everyone's talking about everything else, precepts here and there, but we're completely overlooking the laws. And back in those times when they said they laid open the book of the law and read from it, this is what they're reading. They weren't reading Jeremiah. They weren't reading, all the other books. They were reading from the scroll, from the laws. They were going over the laws to make sure everyone understood. And these are laws that you continuously have to read just to keep them in your mind. Keep them, so you can circumcise your heart, right? So, all right, we can move on to 18 if everyone's in agreement.
Con.
All right,
Bring it out.
All right. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 18. A man who lies with a woman who has a flow, and he uncovers her nakedness, he has bared her fortune, and she has uncovered the fortune of her blood. Both of them shall be cut off from the midst of their people.
all right. So what are we talking about here? Everyone knows Red Wings, right? That's what we used to call it when I was growing up. We can't lie with our wife while she's on her menstrual cycle, for various reasons that we can get into. There's other laws pertaining to that and what needs to be done. It's not anything that should be frowned upon. It's not anything that we should look at our sisters and demoralize them,
Right.
or talk down to them. This is just a fact of life, right? She's eliminating certain things in her body that need to come out. And if you have sex with her at that time, our Creator considers that to be foul, and we're not supposed to do that. And I'm sure that if we looked up, if we Googled, what are the side effects or what are some of the issues that could result of doing this, I'm pretty sure we can find a list of things. So that's why we're supposed to sustain from sex during that period. Okay.
Con.
During that period.
Yeah.
That's exactly exactly what it is.
No pun intended.
Anyways, yeah. Just to add on to what Brother Poole was saying, scientifically, medically speaking, there is consequences to either having sex with your woman during her menstrual cycle, which leads to uncleanness. Right, the Bible calls it unclean, and
right,
and it's a nasty practice, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of people, especially in the world, don't know these laws. That's why we're bringing it out, right?
That's right.
They don't know that it's against the law to not have sex with their wives during their menstrual.
That's right.
I mean, there's even posts today in this day, which once I edit the video, I'm gonna post it that they show that it's okay, like I guess doctors or posts that says it's okay to have sex with your wife during her menstrual. And you see how this world is actually going against the laws of the Most High, right? But there is side effects to having sex with your woman during her period. That includes infections and diseases, and that's just penetration. I mean, I hope no other brother will want to put their mouth where there's unclean blood there, and
Man.
I hope not. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I mean, nature itself will teach you that's
For
disgusting. I mean,
real, bro.
but I mean, there is disgusting people out there. You know what I'm saying?
For real, nah.
If the Most High mentioned it is because there's that we're us as humankind, we're capable of doing shit like that.
That's true. That's true, man. And we don't know how far a human would go to get their arousal going or some shit, you know?
All right, man. Let's move on to verse 19. Excuse me.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 19. And you shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister or your father's sister, for he would be bearing his clothes relative, they shall bear their sin. Verse 20. And a man who lies with his aunt, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their transgression, they shall die childless. Man.
Okay, so 19. You cannot have sex with your father's sister or your mother's sister, meaning your tia, right? Your tia.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You just can't go down that road. These sound very simple, but it is happening. It's happening. It's running rampant.
That's right.
You get a tia, because sometimes there's a tia that's close to your age, right? There's people out there that the tia is 25 and she's her tia, but you may be close to her age, like 22, and you may feel like it's okay. You may be at a party, who knows, and y'all are drinking alcohol and things get away from y'all, and mistakes happen, but we need to keep that in the back of our mind and understand that that's just a no-go. Like I said, this should come naturally. We should understand this already, but there's a reason why it's stated in Leviticus 20. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless, right? So your uncle's wife, your tío's your tío's wife, right? That's another no-go. Obviously she's not blood related, but the fact that is you're sleeping with your neighbor's wife, basically, it leads back to that as well. So your tío's wife is probably not related. In some cases they may be, but we cannot do that. It's just another one of those laws that should come naturally to us. At least we think, but it is happening. And we need to make sure that we teach our children about these things when they're old enough.
God.
Just to add on to this, bro, is there any law that prohibits you not to have sex with your aunt's husband? It's a trick question.
Right.
It's a trick question. Is there any law stated in Torah that you can't sleep with your aunt's husband? And to me, the answer is there isn't. But why isn't there a law that prohibits us from not having sex with your aunt's husband? One, because that still fits in different categories. Because a lot of people are gonna want to do a loophole, right? They're gonna want to loophole the law, right? Loophole the law. Oh, it's not mentioned here. It's not mentioned there. Oh, it doesn't mention not to have that you can't beat your wife. There's no law that says you can't beat your wife, but you can still fit that in an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You get what I'm saying? It still
Correct.
fits under that category. Now, what the question I mentioned is that that fits under the law of no man shall lay with mankind, right? As we read in the previous part, you can't lay with your a man can't lay with a man and a woman can't lay with a woman, because whenever you read no man shall lay with mankind, it only mentions a man, right? It never mentions a woman, right? It never mentions a woman in the woman's perspective. It never says no woman shall lie with a woman. But again, like I'm saying, this category still fits in the same law.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it doesn't mention it at all, but it's still going. It's still category, and it still fits in these categories of the laws, right? Just like there's no law that says no woman shall lay with no woman, but it's obvious because it goes under the same law of no man shall lie with mankind. I don't know if you guys are understanding what
Yeah,
I'm
it
trying to say.
overlaps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of these
exactly.
laws,
We got you, bro.
Exactly.
some of these laws are going to overlap. So, you know, we cannot sleep with our uncle's wife, and we cannot sleep with our tia's husband for the women.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, Izzy, verse 20, Senor.
All right. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 21. And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He hath uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless.
And for those that don't understand by now, or just you know, this is the first video that you're hearing from us. We've already established that the nakedness is having sexual relations. I just want to remind everyone about that again. Okay, the naked, uncovering someone's nakedness is to have sexual relations. That's what we're getting at here. And yeah, we probably shouldn't be showing our private parts to anyone else either in that manner. So that's covered underneath as well. But the serious matter at hand is sexual relations. So we cannot sleep with our brother or our sister's spouse. Okay, it's just you know, we've seen it. It pops up on the news from time to time. This is happening. You know, all the rap songs talk about stuff like this. And if you're still listening to that type of rap, you know, you really need to stop, because you're really being programmed at the end of the day, you know. You know, so but a lot of us that are still out in the world and not underneath the truth, so to speak, right? Because you know, we're you know, they're still susceptible to doing these type of things. And man, I don't have a brother, but I just couldn't see myself, you know, doing that. So you know, we should all sustain from doing that.
Hallelujah. That's right. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 22. And you shall observe all my statutes and all my ordinances and fulfill them. Then the land to which I am bringing you to dwell therein will not vomit you out. I don't know if that translation is any better, but
I'll read the one I have. And ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out. All right. So he's telling us that we got to keep these statutes, laws, statutes, and commandments. We got to keep all of them. You know what I mean? And for those of y'all that say it's too hard to keep them, it's not. Just go over the laws that we've gone over in part 1 and part 2 so far. These are laws that we should be able to keep. These are not laws that we have to be rescued from. These are not laws that are a curse on us. These are laws that are going to make our families righteous, and keep them in order, and keep heartache out of our families, keep stress out of our families, and keep our families together. It's going to keep our families together. It's going to keep a nation together. So these are laws that we could easily keep, and I think that we can all agree on that. And and that's the whole reason why we're going over the laws, so that everyone understands that these laws aren't hard. They're really not hard. But we've been programmed to say, oh, no, man, we can't keep the laws. We can't keep the laws. You know, it's a, you know, Christ came to save us. You know, it's a curse on us. And, you know, we could get into that, but they're not a curse at all. They're not a curse. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be following these laws in the new kingdom. The same laws, same holy days, same feast days, same sacrifices. We're going to be following those laws. So if Christ came to save us from these laws, it doesn't make sense that these laws are going to be reinstituted in the kingdom.
Hallelujah.
So I mean, and really, none of us are saved yet. He hasn't come back to save anyone, as far as I'm concerned. The sky hasn't cracked open. I haven't seen some Jesus type, you know, coming down. and saving us from anything at all.
That's right.
So if you're under that spell, we need to try our hardest to get out of that spell and realize that the same laws that we're being asked to follow here on this earth are the same laws that we're going to have to follow in the kingdom.
That's right. Imagine, think about it like that. Think about it like this, sister. Imagine now, once Christ did his sacrifice, now we're allowed to break all these commandments, and there's no consequence for these for breaking these laws. Like, oh, there's no consequence for you sleeping with your uncle or sleeping with your aunt, sleeping with your sister, sleeping with your brother.
That's right.
Taking your brother's wife, taking your neighbor's wife, having sex with innocent animals, having sex with innocent children. What was the other laws?
Verse 2 and verse 3, don't be sacrificing your children, basically like baptizing them, right? Without their consent. They're too young. Come on now, right?
Exactly. Stop sacrificing your children to Malek or Malak, the God you have chosen, right? The God you have chosen. And in this case, we as a people, we've chosen Christ, right? And that just goes back to Baal at the time of Israel, right? Where they were worshiping Baal, right? The God of the Canaanites. And today, our people are worshiping Jesus. Or Jesus.
The geezer.
Christ, Christus. You know what I'm saying? Just like the other laws, there's no punishment no more. There's no punishment no more for these laws. Once Jesus came and sacrificed himself, now there's no more punishment. What kind of corrupt world are we living in when there's no consequence for evil actions?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, can I give those two precepts for that Leviticus 20, the one we just got done reading? 20, what was it? 23.
22. We were just got
done right.
reading.
So a precept for one, two precepts, guys. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. And thou shalt love the Most High Ab Yahweh with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Hallelujah. And the next precept we got right here is let's see what I got written down right here. Hallelujah. Give me 1 second. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12 and 13. And it reads, and now, Israel, what does the Most High Ab Yahweh require of thee? But to fear the Most High Ab Yahweh, thy Ab Yahweh, to walk in all his ways, to love him, and to serve him, the Most High Ab Yahweh, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Hallelujah. Didn't say nothing about no JC, bro.
Bring it out. And then also, are you done there, Izzy?
I'm done, brother. Hallelujah.
Okay. And so let's just take a moment, just another few moments to discuss this right here. Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land, whether I bring you to dwell therein, spew you not out. Right. So what Christianity has us believing, or the New Testament has us believing, is that our Father gave up his Son as a sacrifice, right, to save us from these same laws that he gave us in the first place, right? Now, does it make sense that our Father would sacrifice his own Son to save us from these laws, only to reinstitute them in the new kingdom? Because it says here, what is he going to do again? What are we all waiting for? We're waiting for him to bring us into our land again, right? It states right here, ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land, whether I bring you to dwell therein. This is also a foreshadow of what's to come. He's going to bring us into our land again, right? And he's going to reinstitute these laws, and we're going to have to follow them. That's what's going to make our nation righteous amongst all the other nations, correct? You're telling me that he sacrificed his Son in vain? He sacrificed his Son just so that he can reinstitute these laws again? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, because when you read Galatians, that's what it's telling you, that Jesus came to rid us of the curse of the law. and that does not make any sense. That our Father would sacrifice His Son to save us from the curse of the law, just to put us back under the curse of the law in the New Testament way of thinking, right? So there's no getting around them. We're gonna have to start following them regardless.
Hallelujah.
All right, we're ready for 23. If y'all are ready.
I just wanted to quote what Isaiah had told me last time. He had said, he was like, what person would sacrifice their only son for a pedophile, for murderers? You know what I'm saying? For homosexuals. If somebody comes and rapes one of your kids, would you sacrifice your other kid for the same person that came and raped your other child?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. What kind of... Bring it out, Izzy. Bring it out.
Bro, that shit's disgusting, bro. Right? And it's like that one thing, that one chapter and verse of John chapter 3, verse 16, that one verse alone is basically saying, I spit on you, Leviticus chapter 20, right? I spit on you, Leviticus chapter 19, right? On all the Torah, on the whole Torah, up and down. Man, and it's just disgraceful, dishonorable to call yourself, oh, we're righteous or we're awake, we're in the truth. But Red, you're using a fucking heathen's book, right? That captivated us and enslaved us. Everybody's using this Deuteronomy 28, right? Using that, but not even following the laws. What the Most High told you in verse 1 in Deuteronomy 28, right? It's just stupid, bro. It's just stupid.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that the Most High set us up for failure. He didn't set us up for failure. These laws were supposed to set us up to be on top of all nations. That's what these laws are designed. That's what these lines were designed for, to keep us on top, and to be able to judge the other nations, and to be able to rule over the other nations, to be able to rule over our households with righteousness, right? And to think that He set us up for failure. To think that He set us up for failure only to have to sacrifice His own Son, because we know He knows everything. He knows the way it started and the way it's going to end. He knows everything already, right? If He's our creator, He knows all this, right? So he didn't set us up for failure to play a game with us. Oh, I'm going to give them this set of statutes and commandments, and I know they're not going to be able to follow them, but I just want to play games with them. That doesn't make no sense at all. That doesn't make no sense at all. Let
me say something too, bro. As a people, as we call ourselves Israel, the children of God, indios and Dios, right? Which is, indios just means en Dios, hijos en Dios, right? If we're the chosen people of God, then we have to be able to act godly, right? And we're set apart from the other nations, and we're supposed to represent the best of the best, the King of the King, and the God of gods, the Lord of lords, and King of kings. As a people, are we supposed to do whatever the hell we want, or is there supposed to be specific rules and how we carry ourselves, right? How we're supposed to carry ourselves in a manner of righteous, right? If the Most High, we're supposed to represent the righteous God, right? A fair God, a righteous God, and everybody does whatever the hell they want, corruption and evil. We're not representing the right God, you know what I'm saying? The Most High gave us these laws because we're supposed to represent Him. And as a people, we have failed to represent the Most High God. And what kind of God will want to be represented by people such as us? That are full of evil and corruption, bro, and do not want to hear the law. As soon as we bring out the law, there's people that want to cover their ears, yell, no, but the law's done away with. Oh, you ain't even keeping the whole law. I'm like, brother, you don't even know the whole law. Have you even read Leviticus 20? These are easy commandments that everyone can do, and it's supposed to be doing today. And if they're not doing it, it's punishable by the law of America as well.
Hallelujah. Sure.
Correct.
But yeah, I'm done with that.
Hey, please,
Beautiful.
you guys get a highlighter and underline that. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 22. Please underline that. Memorize that. All right, guys?
Is that law done away with? You know, it certainly isn't done away with. Is a Sabbath
23 now?
is a Sabbath done away with?
Never. Nope.
But why isn't it done away with? If all the other laws are done away with, if for these brothers that are new tears, right, that are banging on Canaan all the time, there's a law in there that says we're supposed to bang on them, right? That we're supposed to utterly destroy them, right? So if the laws are done
That's a
away with, why are we following that law? Why are we banging so hard on the Canaanites? Why do y'all have such a hate for them? Why? Because our Father told us to, and it's a law. He commanded it. He commanded us to, not to hate, not to go out and try to kill or nothing like that. But we are supposed to know who they are, and we are supposed to know that they threw us under the bus, and they're vile people, and we are not supposed to mix with them. Correct? So
That's right.
so y'all are hardcore on that law, but y'all don't want to be hardcore on the other laws.
Pick and choose, bro.
Yeah, if the laws have been done away with in your mind, then you can't be banging on no Canaanites. That's why I'm stuck in Torah. That's why I'm stuck in Torah. I got my Canaanite banging card with the Torah. So
right.
y'all got to make sure y'all understand that. If you're over there banging on the Canaanites, you got to follow the other laws too. So, all right, 24.
Okay, Leviticus chapter 24.
I'm sorry, 23.
Okay.
20.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 23. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. Verse 24. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, and a land that flows with milk and honey. I am the Most High, YHWH, which have separated you, Salakia, separated you from other people.
And so, what people is he talking about here? What land that were we going to take over? Who are those people? What people were living in our land that Joshua had to go and destroy?
Canaanites.
So there we go, brothers. It's a law. It's a law, right, to separate ourselves from them. It's a law to distinguish ourselves from them. If they come and try to steal our inheritance away, we got to call them out and we got to bring the truth out. That is a law. So for the NTers that are banging on the Canaanites every day, you're following a law, right?
That's right.
And it's one law out of a list of laws we're supposed to follow. So if these laws are from a demon god that y'all are calling our God that made these laws and gave them to us, a demon god. I've heard it from several people already, and they're spreading that lie around. And so one of the laws is he just went over is to make sure that we take care of those people, right? It's
That's
to make sure that we pull our swords out of our sheath and destroy them with scripture nowadays, right? We gotta let everyone know that they're not the Israelites, we're the Israelites, we're the people. And he's telling us to do these in this list of laws. So when you're going out there spreading the word about the demon god, that same demon god is telling you to go bang on the Canaanites and you're doing it. That he's not a demon god. He's the God of the laws, statutes, and commandments. He's the same. He's the same God that created everything, right? And so this should really hit some people heavy. It should really hit y'all heavy because we got a whole bunch of people on the Canaanite movement. I'm part of it too. I'm down with it. You know, I'm down. I'm never going to fall back from it, but it's part of the laws, and that's why y'all are doing it. And
let me say something, bro. Let me say something because this is getting me angry, bro. This is getting me angry.
There you go.
The same, like he said, the same damn people that are banging on Canaan, right?
Right.
How dare you pick and choose, right? How dare you pick and choose whatever the hell you want to do? That's hypocrisy. That's being a hypocrite.
That's right.
That's crazy. And if you read evil in the scrolls, right, of the Tanakh and Torah, if you read evil, it's because it was deserved. It was deserved.
Correct.
The Most High said an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and he also follows that law as well.
That's right.
Evil will happen to evil people, and good shall happen to the righteous. What do you expect if you're an evil mother ucker, right? If you're an evil sucker, how are you gonna expect good shit to happen to you? No. You need to expect evil, because evil follows evil and good follows good. And if anything evil happened in the historical books, it's because the person was evil. If anything good happened in the historical book, it's because they were doing good as well. Now, the Most High decided to destroy Israel at many times, and he went back on his word because he was merciful. He's a merciful God as well. But anyways, whoever wants to add on.
No, that's just right. But we got to make sure that these new NTs, the NTs understand this, and the sisters and the brothers that don't know what to do, and don't know whether to follow New Testament or go back to our Father and return to our Father, and come back to these laws. You got to listen to this one specifically, because the hottest topic right now is Canaan. You get on some of these podcasts that people are putting up, that's all they're talking about, banging Canaan. They're debating Canaan all day long. Why do you think they're doing it? Because they're following Leviticus chapter 20, verse 24. They're following that law. The same people that are telling you to bang on Canaan are saying that the God that gave us these laws is a demon God. And I keep repeating myself, but we have to let that sink in. We have to. That's hypocrisy. That does not make any sense. That's confusion. All right. 25, Izzy.
All right, verse 25. Ye shall therefore put difference between clean beast and unclean, and between unclean fowls and clean. And ye shall not make your souls abominable by beast, or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean.
All right, so this is this is just a recap, really, of dietary laws that we'll eventually get into, because that's our thing here with this podcast, is to read all the laws so all of our brothers and sisters understand them and become and it becomes common knowledge to us again, right? Because this was common knowledge to us at some point in our history. Our ancestors, right? They read these all the time. They opened up the book of the law and they read these laws. So this should come as no surprise. In fact, some of the new tiers that are banging on Canaan are following this law too. So it's from the same list. It's from the same book, Leviticus.
That's right. Like you said, this is just a recap of Leviticus chapter 11, right? What was it? 9 verses before? 9 chapters before this chapter. But as we gotta understand, these were scrolls. You know what I'm saying? The Europeans were the ones that had separated it and numbered it and stuff, right? But these are all part of Torah scrolls, right? And it's all one piece, right? It's all one piece. But what our people are doing nowadays, right? They're separating it now. They're separating. Oh, we follow these, but we don't follow these. We can keep these, but then we can't keep these. But look at Leviticus 20. It's telling you the same thing. You're following the dietary law. Guess what? It's part of the whole law. It's a whole piece. You can't just separate one piece out of it. It's like if you're playing Jenga, right? That little game that you pull out a brick and then you pull out another brick and watch the whole tower fall. The foundation is Torah. The way is Torah. The truth is Torah. When everybody says that we're in the truth, no, you're not. You're not in the truth, because what does Proverbs say? What does Psalm say? Torah is the truth. The law is the truth, right? And when you're pulling laws out of the whole foundation, it's like you're playing a game of Jenga, right? You're pulling one little wooden brick out, and then you pull another wooden brick out, and until the whole tower crumbles. You know what I'm saying? And it's part of a full foundation of how we're supposed to carry ourselves and live by and represent the Most High God. And if anybody thinks it's unrighteous for a person to dedicate themselves to completing these laws, statutes, and commandments, then they're on the wrong team. They have a wrong mindset. They've been corrupted. They've been deceived.
And you got to ask yourself, if you're serving a God that has rescued you from the laws, from the curse of the laws, you really got to question that. You really have to stop and think what this God came to rescue you from. Did he rescue you from the truth and actually put you in bondage? Or did he really rescue you? Did he rescue you? Are you suffering right now? Are you in captivity right now? Is our nation on top right now? He hasn't rescued us from anything at all.
Right.
The only way we're going to get rescued is by returning back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, the way Deuteronomy chapter 30 tells us to do. All right. So let me
add on to that, bro, real quick. When you read in Torah, when you read in the historical books, and when you read in the prophets, you see that Israel is above all nations. They're being prosperous. They're being blessed. Even in Deuteronomy 28, verse 1 all the way to verse 14 is the blessings, right? It's the blessings. We always read the curses of Deuteronomy 28, but you never read the blessings, right? And these are the blessings that's going to happen if you're keeping the commandments, right? Now, whenever you read about Israel, whenever they keep the commandments and only worship Yahweh only, right? Because they always, what is Israel known for? For idolatry, right? Breaking the first commandment of the 10 commandments. You shall not have other gods before me.
That's right. Bring it out.
You should not put no other person, other name, other idol, other whatever you want to call it, a ghost, a half god, a demigod, or whatever. Anything you put above Yahweh, right? And by putting him above Yahweh, you listen to him more than you listen to Yahweh, because Yahweh ordered us to keep the commandments, right? But every time that you read that Israel was keeping the commandments, we were a great people. No one could defeat us whenever we were fighting the Canaanites and we were keeping the commandments. We were being prosperous. We were overcoming every enemy. And whenever we broke the commandments, we were always down and we were always being defeated by the enemy. Now, think about it like this in a tactical way, right? In order to keep Israel down forever, to always keep Israel in servitude, to keep them in captivity, what is the enemy going to want to do? He's going to try to make us always break the commandments, never return to the commandments. So Israel will never, ever, ever stand up. So God would never be able to defend Israel, right? Because whenever we were keeping the commandments, God was there to defend us. And when we were breaking them, God would leave. His presence would leave from us and turn his back on us. And that's why the nations overcame us. But think about it like this in a tactical military way. How does the other nations keep Israel in bondage? By making them sin, by making them break the laws of the Most High. And if you can get the whole nation of Israel to abandon their laws, then you can always keep this kingdom forever. You can always keep them under bondage forever. But as soon as Israel starts waking up and say, you know what? We're being hoaxed. We're being deceived by the damn enemy. He's telling us not to keep the whole laws. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever we kept the whole laws, the Most High had our backs. The Most High loved us. The Most High defended us and placed us above all nations. But whenever we didn't keep the laws, we were always placed under a curse.
And who has come to keep us down? Who has come to do that? Who has come to serve as a tool for the other nations so that they may keep us down and away from the laws and waiting on someone to come. That's your idol in the New Testament. I just want to hit Deuteronomy chapter 30 real quick, if I may.
Go ahead, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse, right? I'm going to stop right there. The blessings and the curse. That means that everything has happened already, that we're going to be in today's day and age. That's what that means, because the curses are upon us right now. When all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn your captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God has scattered thee. Nowhere in there does it talk about a savior coming, an only son being sacrificed. He gave us specific directions on what to do in this day and age for him to turn our captivity. Right? Verse 4. If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. Verse 5. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed. This is talking about today's day and age. We are waiting to be returned back to the land which our fathers possessed. And thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies. That's what we want, right? We want our justice for what happened to our ancestors. We want our justice for what the Spanish, the English, and the Moors and the Canaanites did to us. That confederate that tumult that they agreed upon amongst themselves to separate our land and to put us in slavery and to rape our women and to kill our children and to put us into slavery, right? That's what we want. Verse 8, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. We're going to have to follow these commandments in order for him to turn back to us, in order for him to turn this captivity around as a group, as a nation, whether it doesn't matter how big we are right now or how small we are right now. If a group of us can start following these laws, it will spread like wildfire, and we will all start to live. We will all start to live these laws again, and then he's going to remember us. Nowhere does it tell us to follow a man named Jesus, YHWH, Yeshua. Nowhere. He says to turn to him and remember all that I commanded thee this day.
That's right.
So
where we at, brothers?
Right. We're Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26.
God. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Most High, am holy, and have served you from other people, that ye should be mine. And a man also or woman that hath a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon them. Two precepts on that one. Leviticus 19:31. Do not turn do not turn to mediums or Salakia. What's that word? I can't really pronounce that word.
Necromancers.
Necromancers.
Yeah, necromancers. And then the next precept will be Exodus 22 verse 18. You shall not permit a sorceress to live.
And just so that everyone knows the definition of necromancer, and we may have a few of these brothers amongst our midst in our community on the boards, right? necromancer, a person who practices necromancy, a wizard, a magician. Synonyms: wizard, witch, warlock, diviner, occultist, voodooist, sorceress, enchanter, enchantress, magus, medicine man, shaman, witch, doctor, conjure woman, and there's some other ones that I don't know about and I don't know how to pronounce. So I think we got it covered though.
Yeah. So like just like the woman that Saul decided to consult with, right? So she can bring up the prophet Samuel from death, right? So he can speak to the dead, right? She was a necromancer, right? To be able to speak to the dead, right? To be able to chant your enchantments, use mystical powers that the Most High ordained us not to, right?
Right.
And we have a lot of witchcraft, wizards, enchanters, shamans, ritual people that do all this stuff that comes from Africa, like the voodoo and all that stuff, especially in Mexico. There's a lot of that practice witchcraft, and you see how Mexico is way worse than America, right? Although America keeps their witchcraft in secrecy, right? But Mexico is just bluntly out there. They're just bluntly out there, and it's bringing bad vibes, bad energies, bad spirits into the places, and that's why people can't prosper. People die, and it's like I told you, there's power in the words that we speak. You can curse and you can bless, and that's what chanting does, right? That's what wishing curses upon people, doing hexes upon people. And how do you stop a witch from doing all this witchcraft? How do you release yourself from witchcraft that's been done to you? It's just the same. Is the same as how do you stop the spread of the virus, right? You kill the virus, right?
You destroy that motherfucker. You kill that lady. You kill that
If a dog has rabies, you kill that dog and you stop the rabies, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing with the witches. You kill the witches, witchcraft leaves. You know what I'm saying? There has to be the fear of the Lord in these people, bro. And like Brother Pua said, there's some of the brothers and sisters that claim that they're Israel and they keep the commandments and all that stuff.
That's right.
The reason they're not Torah, the reason they're not Torah only is because of the stuff they practice, right? Because Jesus, idolatry, especially idolatry, is one of the things that these shamans and these warlocks and wizards use. They're a lot into idolatry, and they call upon spirits, they call upon other gods, and
priests, padres in the Catholic Church are considered the same thing.
Exactly, and we're not saying that using herbs as medicinal remedies is not witchcraft, but the way that they use it in rituals and sacrifices and enchantments, that's another thing.
Correct. We're not talking about using herbs to heal a virus or to heal a cold or like I use a lot of natural oils. When Levi, if he runs a little temperature, I mix in lavender, orange, and eucalyptus with the olive oil, and I rub his whole body down, and it takes the fever away. If he bumps his knee and his knee swells up, the same mixture, I rub it on his knee and the swellingness has gone away. He's not swollen after probably about an hour of that being rubbed on him. It takes effect that fast, and that's not what we're talking about here. I think everybody knows what we're talking about. Reaching these other levels of mental state, being spiritual in other realms that really don't exist here. Everyone says that we're carnal because all we want to do is laws. There's no way that you can be spiritual, right? There's no way you can be spiritual without the laws. The laws are going to make you righteous. The laws are going to cleanse your mind. The laws are going to make you have a good palate, like a clean palate that you can grow from, and then maybe then you can grow spiritually. Maybe then you can get closer to our Creator, and He can bless us with spirituality, right? But we're talking about wizards over there pushing esoteric knowledge or whatever the case may be.
That's right.
Let's get into the knowledge of the laws, and then see where the laws lead us. And if the laws lead us there, then hey, it's righteous. And if they don't, then it's not righteous.
That's right. And like you say, there's brothers out there there and sisters out there that are practicing this stuff and leading our people astray and want to practice different levels of consciousness and outside realms and be able to acquire wisdom from other realms and other you know what I'm saying? Where are they getting this wisdom from? How are they acquiring this wisdom? And why doesn't it tie up to the righteous laws of the Most High? You know what I'm saying? Why is this wisdom going against the word of the Holy One, right? If this wisdom is contrary to the words that are spoken in Torah, right, in the laws of the Most High, then we know it doesn't come from the Father. And if you're not part of the Father, then you're the enemy, right? You're the enemy. You're no use. You're fighting for another God. You're not in the truth.
That's right.
So how dare you claim the truth if we know the truth is the laws of the Most High? Don't get deceived out there, brothers and sisters. Open your eyes. Open your mind. Don't get deceived out there. Don't get easily swayed by people like that.
Yeah, right. and just, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty. This is the whole duty of man. So it doesn't matter what books you're reading. It doesn't matter what you're getting into. If you find yourself getting weary, if you find yourself getting confused, and you don't know which way to go, you got brothers pulling you this way, brothers pulling you that way, then do yourself some justice and stick to the commandments. At the end of the day, they will not let you down.
Hallelujah.
And hopefully, just reading of the laws, we're not bringing out anything new. We're just bringing out stuff that really never gets brought out, and we just want to start returning to our Father and reading the laws so that we could become accustomed to following them and understand that they are easy to follow. They're not hard to follow. And they're in our DNA, whether you believe it or not. They're in our DNA. It should come natural to follow these laws once we get used to following them and reading them and keeping them in our minds at all times.
That's right, brothers. Well, as we all say, we're gonna end this part, and we bless everyone that hears and listens to these laws and commandments. Not us; we're just normal people reading out of the holy book of the Most High God, right? And we all say shalom.
Shalom,
everyone.